Welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, July the 24th, 2021. It is Season 15, Episode 24. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
I'm Wendy.
She's Wendy, as everyone knows. And she's, trust me, she is not at all tired of that joke. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228, 334-272-9228. Check out InGameChat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can find us on Facebook there as well. You can email us, everyone, at InGameChat.net. You can also join us on Discord over here and chat with us live on the air. Why not give it a shot? Yeah, what else? Oh, Twitch. We're streaming on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv. You can find us over there. I mean, the easiest thing for you to do is just go to our website, ingamechat.net. Scroll all the way down, and you'll see all the links to get in touch with us. Links to our... I put our Discord in there, yeah. So links to our Discord, links to our Twitch, links to everything that you need in order to interact with the show there. So, yeah, why not join us? Welcome to the show. Here, let me do this really quick, so I can sync up later on with everything. All right, and then get the show started proper. Hey, Duke, who is in the chat room, and he's also in the he's in Discord as well. Yeah, if you feeling like guest hosting, next week might be your week, because we can do this through Discord, which is great. You know, we did that once. A few people had been talking to us through Discord, and the quality is just fantastic. So, may actually doing that. RJ is not going to be here next week, so it'll be Wendy and myself next week.
Which means help.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means. No, it's fine. But yeah, welcome to the show. Gonna hit the news real quick. We're doing this different format now, where we do the news first, and then we get to what we played later on in the show. And mainly because between all of us, it rarely changes what we play. Yeah, the All Wendy show next week. I don't know. It wouldn't be talking about games, probably. Probably serial killers or something. I don't know. Yes. Or, murder.
No, I would talk for 2 hours plus on that.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, welcome to the show. Here is what happened this week as far as gaming is concerned. I mean, we're going to get to the Activision stuff. I don't necessarily want to just jump out of the gate with that. That's some heavy lawsuit. I don't necessarily want to say that it actually doesn't surprise me coming from Activision Blizzard, but I don't want to say that because I don't know. That's not... How would I know? How would that, I have no basis on anything to say that, well, they should have seen that coming from that company. No, I really don't. I have no basis on that, especially not at the lengths at which this thing goes. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. So let's just hit what we got. It started with Netflix and somebody data mining some Netflix stuff, and there was something about Ghost of Tsushima. I screwed it up. I'm going to take the hit on that one. I was close, but I screwed it up.
Closer than the norm.
Yep, I screwed that one up. Ghosts of Tsushima. Yeah, there was some data mining on that, and what they came across... PlayStation-related images of both a DualSense controller and Ghost of Tsushima have been discovered hidden within the Netflix app, said a data miner. Both of those images appeared in the app, fueling speculation that Sony and the streaming media company will form some sort of partnership related to gaming in the not-too-distant future. Possible. I don't know. There was a promotion just this past week for PlayStation 5 and Apple TV where you could get 6 months of Apple TV Plus for free. Not saying they data mined the Apple TV app and found Sony stuff in there, but there's all sorts of partnerships that could be done with this and not necessarily related to some sort of, gaming thing. Maybe it's something, maybe you'll get 6 months free on Netflix or something if you... I don't know. Data mining is not... what's the term?
reliable, accurate?
Yeah, I would say that. It's not a reliable, it's not a whatever they call it. It's
Because
not a science type thing.
Yeah, because basically someone gets the information and then they interpret it to whatever they think it is and put it out there as truth. But, so it could be anything. But.
Yeah, really. And so you don't really, they data mine stuff for Destiny all the time. Doesn't necessarily mean that any of that stuff is going to be used. 9 times out of 10 it does. But that's completely different than data mining Netflix. But yeah. Anyway, they did announce that their games, the Netflix games thing, I think we may have brought that up last week, but that thing is going to be cell phone based, mobile based. And it'll be free for subscribers as well whenever they implement that. So not a bad idea. Kind of like the Apple Plus Arcade where you pay, I say Apple Plus Arcade, it's Apple Arcade or Apple something Arcade. You pay a certain fee. It's kind of like Game Pass, and you have access to all these games that kind of rotate in and out of the, each month or something like that. So be interested to see what they come up with. I was hoping for something very GameFly-esque, but digital maybe. Well, that's Game Pass, exactly what that is. I just realized I described Game Pass. So yeah, that's Game Pass, exactly what that is. So yeah, something in that vein would be fine. I'm not dropping Netflix anytime soon, so if they want to add stuff in there to my subscription without,
Upping the price, yeah.
Well, I say upping the price. They're always going to up the price, but actually making it here's an add-on for an extra $10 a month, you can do this, So, and have it be something that, like, if you have Netflix installed on your Xbox or your PlayStation, where you would have access to whatever those games that you have for that system would be, as long as you logged in through their app, something like that. So that's a thought for it. So yeah, this is not something we were wondering if they were going to stick their toes into the waters of console gaming, and that does not seem to be the case. Perfectly fine. What else went on? Yeah, the Museum of Pinball is closing its doors. Now, there are lots of pinball museums. So don't think that this is the one and only pinball museum. It's probably one of the good ones or one of the better ones. Like Seattle has a pinball museum that I've been to, but it's a very, very, very small. The bottom floor is like one wall has modern machines, and then the other side of the wall starts with their classic stuff. And if you go upstairs, it's all classic after that. Mm-hmm. Is this the one that was in...
You said modern machines, modern pinball games, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Modern pinball, okay.
The newer ones, yeah. Mm-hmm. This is the... Okay, this one's in California. The Museum of Pinball, home to one of the world's largest collections of pinball and arcade games under one roof. The last official count was over 1,100 machines. The museum is now being closed for good. An attempt to relocate the museum to Palm Springs failed, and the entire collection of games will be going up for auction soon.
Tempted?
Probably not, given the prices of some of those machines. Probably not.
And shipping.
There's that too. That you'd have to throw in there. Yeah. I'll be interested to see like kind of what the auction's going for type of stuff, but yeah.
We got a question from Lethal about where is it in Seattle?
The Seattle Pinball Museum in Seattle. It's down by the ballpark, by
Safeco Field.
T-Mobile Stadium.
Is it Safeco or no?
Safeco, I think, is their football field. I think this one's T-Mobile Park. Anyway, it's downtown, where the... I say it's downtown. No, it's not downtown. It's down over by where the baseball stadium is. Mm-hmm. That is where the Seattle Pinball Museum is.
T-Mobile Park.
Yeah, T-Mobile Park. Yeah, you can find it there. Okay. Lethal Migraine's going to be in Seattle. Mm-hmm. So, Lethal, check out the Seattle Pinball Machine, and then there's pinball all over the place. There's a bar called Shorty's, where the front of it is it's a bar place, but in the back, pinball all over the place. So yeah, check out that. Shorty's, the Pinball Museum, and I only discovered this the last time I was in Seattle. It was the first time I was that I tried this place, and I haven't been back because I haven't been back to Seattle. But there's a donut shop that sells mochi donuts, and it's fantastic. You will wait in line, but it's really good. So if you're a fan of, you know, sweets and whatever.
Road trip.
Yeah, road trip. Road trip to Seattle. More like a flight. But yeah, that's what you should check out. Trying to think of any other Seattle stuff for you to do. Is this your first time? I don't know if it's your first time going to Seattle or not. But
is this Old Mochi Donuts, Dahlia Bakery in Seattle?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I don't think so. It's been a while.
Yeah, I was looking up Seattle Mochi Donuts, and I see Dochi.
Maybe that is... No. Maybe it is Dochi. I think it is. Yep, it's Dochi.
Okay.
It is Dochi. I just didn't know it was called... What did you call it? Dochi?
The first thing that came up was Dahlia Bakery, Old Mochi Donuts.
Okay. No. It's Dochi. D-O-C-H-I.
Okay. 605th Avenue South, Seattle, Washington, 98104.
Which is easily within walking distance of the Seattle Pinball Museum.
Nice.
By the way.
So it's all right there for you, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, check. Okay, he's been there before. All right, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft announced a brand new game, and it's called X Defiant. I guess it's called X Defiant or X Defiant, maybe. I don't know. It's a 6v6 arena FPS, and its first test is coming in August, and it involves all the Tom Clancy properties. So your Rainbow Six, your whatever it is from the Division. I'm not sure exactly what it is from Division. Also,
squad-based combat, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Third Echelon, which is from your Splinter Cell series. This is the only way that Ubisoft will ever seem to incorporate Splinter Cell in as a game anymore, is if they bundle it into some other game already.
So what is this, like a quad combat all-stars type thing?
I'm going to go with crap. I'm going to go with it's probably crap.
Okay.
They canceled that other game called Elite Squad. They had this at an E3 not too long ago.
Okay.
And it's called Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, and it has, again, Division, Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, all of those, Ghost Recon, all of those things, all in a one game type of thing. But this was a mobile game. And again, when I was watching an E3 for Ubisoft, they teased it, and it's like, oh, there's Sam Fisher again, but he's in this stupid cell phone game, and give him his own series.
Yeah, I'm sorry. As soon as you said mobile game, I just
yeah, I know. I throw that off too.
Okay.
I'm in the same vein. I know. The more I read reviews of people who are using I think it's called the Backbone X, which is this attachment for your cell phone that makes it a control. Basically, it puts a controller in your hands with your phone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the more I read about that, the more I read that it actually really, really works. And a lot of people who were very against gaming on their phone, mainly for that reason, have said that has changed the way that they use their phone now, because they will look at games now as a thing to do on their phone because they have that adapter that goes with it. Mm-hmm. So,
I think the biggest issue for me is control and touching the screen all the time and doing that stuff. And I mean, that's the only option you've got, really. So.
Yeah, but when you plug the controllers in there, or the thing that I don't know.
Yeah. When
you plug that in there, the button mapping all becomes a controller for you, and not trying to press something on your phone type of thing. So yeah. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Steam Deck last week. They have many attempts, and they don't seem to work. And Ubisoft is having many attempts at trying to find that Apex Legends, that Fortnite, that arena game.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like the hot genre right now. Everyone's going to try to make their own version of it and see which one excels and rises to the top.
And they're throwing everything against the wall and see if it'll stick. Yep. And so far, nothing's stuck. This doesn't look like it's going to stick either. There's still ways ahead of it, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna make it. It's early to say. The more I think, though, about them actually doing a Splinter Cell, the more I worry that the anticipation that we all have for a Splinter Cell game, the feeling that it's probably coming, it's probably going to get around to being announced, and it's probably going to get around to being made. We don't think they've killed it forever, but we don't know when they're going to bring it back. And I kind of feel like I kind of feel like it's going to be disappointing either way. If they never bring it back, if they never bring it back, then we're disappointed because we don't have one. The longer they wait, when they finally do, it's
going to feel too little, too late.
Well, it just won't meet our expectations of what we've tried to be, and we can't tell you what our expectations are. You know.
All I know is that it keeps building year after year after year after year, and it gets to a point where nothing they put out is going to be nothing they put out is going to satisfy that anticipation that you've built up for the past how many years.
Yeah, I get you. I know. The thing about that is that you wait so long.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It's like if Assassin's Creed releases a game, of course, maybe not anymore since they're trying to go for this, open world live games as a service thing for Assassin's Creed. But take Call of Duty, for instance. Mm-hmm. If Call of Duty released and you don't like this one, well, then all you got to do is wait a year and you'll get another one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If Splinter Cell comes out and is not what we want, then that's a big, big problem.
Yeah. Huge letdown.
Yeah.
It's a huge letdown.
So, and, the more you wait on something with the anticipation of, knowing what they can do and seeing what they can do with the other games that they've done with, and to say, well, here's hoping that Splinter Cell is just going to be really, really good. I feel like there's a certain point that when you finally get that whole thing that they finally give in and say, okay, fine, here's your Splinter Cell game. That it's not necessarily not what you want. It's just that they didn't put the time into it. They wanted to get it out because it was the hot thing, or it's the new thing, or it's what we've worked on, or we want you to shut up. Here's your game. Yeah. Which honestly,
those are the ones with the worst effort.
Yeah, but no company's ever done that before. No company said, "Let's make a game to shut these people up." What? No, that I know of. Maybe some DLC or maybe some updates to a game, but not flat out. Let's make a game just to shut up the crowd, type of thing. Because I don't think there's money there, and I don't necessarily know that there's money in a new Splinter Cell game, given how long it's been. It's not that people have forgotten, but you wait around too long and you've got to reintroduce your audience for something like that. They don't know who the person is. They don't know how the game plays. Oh, this is a stealth game? I've been playing all your Tom Clancy games are nothing but shooters. What is this thing where I'm not shooting? Where it's not all the time shooting. It's a lot of waiting and hiding in the shadows and sneaking by. You also look at what Ubisoft has done in the other thing. They're turning Assassin's Creed into games of service. They have done that with Rainbow Six. The Division seems to be going in that direction, or if anything, there is that paid component to it, something that Splinter Cell never had. And so, again, they're probably looking at that to say, how can we make more money off of this game once we release it? More money, which I get it.
That's what business is all about.
It's what a company's going to do.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you can make an argument. What is it? Obviously, there's a very vocal group that wants a new Splinter Cell. However, I don't recall any of them selling all that well to begin with. Exactly. I don't remember the numbers, but apparently it was good enough for them to make quite a few in the series. There was a time when Splinter Cell was almost an annual game release, and it really stopped after Blacklist. Of course it stopped after Blacklist. And all they've done is just make him a regular... But they've got... there's a Netflix series that'll be out, I believe, next year. So I kind of have to figure that maybe they're going to do some tie-in with that to either announce or release or something. If they're releasing by next year to coincide with this Netflix thing, then they have done a very good job at keeping their mouth shut and keeping it a secret. Kind of like Valve did, but I don't think that's not Ubisoft's way. So I don't think one's coming at all. I'm sure you can make an argument that EA made a new Mirror's Edge to shut people up. Also, Xbox making a new Fable. There hasn't been a decent Fable since 2008. I don't think it's to shut people up. Mirror's Edge, I'm not sure, Mirror's Edge and Dead Space released at the same time. We got a second game of Mirror's Edge, but we got 3 or 4 other Dead Space games. So yeah, Mirror's Edge probably didn't sell as well as Dead Space did, but apparently it was enough to do a sequel. I don't think the sequel did very well, though, that I can remember, because they haven't touched that thing. They haven't gone back to that at all.
I think it was one of the one where the price dropped.
Yeah,
heavily.
It
real
did
quick.
real quick. Yeah, I think you're right on that. But the other part is that Mirror's Edge had 2 games. Splinter Cell has had like 5 or 6. There feels like there is a audience there.
7.
Do I know?
Well, I was trying to look up sales numbers, like Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, Chaos Theory, Essentials, Double Agent, Conviction, Blacklist.
Mm-hmm.
Something a planned VR something in the future or something like that.
Yeah, again, this is something I put at the write-up of every show, that it's been this many days since you've made a Splinter Cell or released a Splinter Cell game where it wasn't VR, extra character in a thing or a TV series or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see if they get around to it or not. I don't think that they will.
We'll see something else on here. It says the series was once considered to be one of Ubisoft's flagship franchises, selling more than 31 million copies as of 2011. Although as of 2021, there has not been a new installment since 2013, with only the announcement of a VR version.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sitting on it.
I don't think Blacklist. I don't think Blacklist did bad enough that they would say, "Well, we're not going to make any more of those."
Mm-hmm.
I think Blacklist did fine, and it was probably well worth doing a sequel. But I think what Ubisoft did was they changed their focus. In between the time of that release and then trying to go back to it, I think they said, well, we need to finish up this Rainbow Six thing that we're working on, or we need to finish up this Assassin's Creed or this Far Cry or all this other stuff. I mean, I know there's different teams that work on all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked Blacklist. I don't care about the voice actor or anything like that. I actually enjoyed Blacklist. I'll tell you, I especially enjoyed Blacklist when James and I played it in co-op, because they offered co-op missions in that game, and that was a lot of fun. They probably offered co-op in the previous game, but that was a game that we both had, and so we co-opted it, and it was great. Whole lot of fun doing that. There were some great versions of the co-op. There was co-op missions, and then there was co-op standoff, and then there was co-op kind of a horde mode type thing for a Splinter Cell game, which is interesting to be able to figure out how to do that, and they did. Yeah, I would love it. Lethal mentions that Ubisoft needs to sell the Splinter Cell to IO and let the Hitman crew make a new game. Oh God, I wish they could.
Hitman is all about stealth.
I know, but Splinter Cell is all tied into that Tom Clancy thing, and since Ubisoft bought the Tom Clancy name, there's no way they're letting that go. Because what somebody will do is make a game that will make money, and then they'll that could have been us. They're too corporate. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So, and IO aren't they under? Are they I say independent. Are they independent publishers? Do they develop and publish their own games, or do they have to go through a publisher? I'm not sure. If they're just a dev house, or if they're a dev house and a publishing house too. So yeah, that's a lot more on Ubisoft than I ever really wanted to talk about in that little section there. But when we come back, we'll go over some Assassin's Creed stuff. Actually, it's more about Skull and Bones than it is about Assassin's Creed, although that's how it came about. Talk about the Steam Deck again, and graphics cards for your PC, and how to avoid. Well, by now you should already know what game to avoid with your brand new graphics card, especially that high-end one. We'll tell you all about that coming up here on In-Game Chat. Music here from, I was going to get to the... Oh, look. Duke's in the chat room. Hey, Duke. We're going to... In fact, if he's right there. Hey, Duke, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, there he is. Hey, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll get you on to talk about Dead Space. Since we got a little...
I can't wait.
Yeah, since we got a little nice little teaser from EA this past week. We'll talk about that as well. Music here from Grand Theft Auto 5. It is the intro theme music, and we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from Orcs Must Die 3, which I think was just released this week, I believe.
It's a boss battle?
It's actually a mix of tracks.
Oh, okay.
It was released by the, I guess, the developers, the publishers, whoever it is, and it's kind of a sampler of the album. Okay. That was the only music for the game that I could find. It was this, so it's not bad to kind of get everything all at once there. But yeah, exactly. Anyway, welcome back to the show. I need to unmute the unmute Discord there. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. You wanted to talk Dead Space. Now, you want to talk old Dead Space? Or you want to? Well, there's not much new Dead Space to talk about, to be honest with you.
There kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, did they release any more? I mean, I know we got the teaser, and I think they said that it's going to be like a remake, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit, just because I found, I think I might have been more excited about just like a remastered trilogy, but they're actually going to remake this franchise for whatever reason, and they went out of their way to say that it's going to have an improved story. And then I saw in the news the original developer's reaction, like, "Oh, we can't wait to see what EA is going to do with Dead Space." And I'm like, wouldn't you be offended if you were the original developers and they're going to improve your story? I thought that was just a weird thing to call out. Like, okay, gameplay mechanics, upgraded current gen graphics. I get that.
That studio doesn't exist anymore, though, does it?
No, but I mean, the creators were all on Twitter, and But I don't know. I found first of all, why do we need a remake? The original game sets up the franchise fine, and they left the franchise on a huge cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. Why can't you just start at that point and move forward?
Probably because I don't know. I don't exactly know. I probably give companies a little bit too much credit when I start talking about them, because I don't make games, so I don't know, and I don't do the bean counting to know how this all works. But I can't imagine that somebody didn't look at it and say, we can do a new Dead Space game, or we can do a Dead Space game. We've got all these old assets that we can kind of update and upgrade and everything else, and we can put out a remake. And maybe that is a test the waters. Do people want a Dead Space? Let's see if we do a remaster where it doesn't take up a lot of time, because we've got all this old stuff that we're just going to kind of. I say this again. I am not a developer, so saying this may not actually be how it works.
What would be easier? What would be easier, you think? Make a remake, or coming up with a new story based off what you already got?
I feel like they're already doing that. I feel like they're probably working on something new for Dead Space, but right now here's our remake type of thing. Because Dead Space 3, when was that out?
Been a minute. Yeah, I'll look it up.
It's got to be early teens, because the franchise is only 12 years old. 2008 is when the first game came out. That's not that much time. Yeah, the first Dead Space game.
Yeah, Dead Space 3 was released on February 5th of 2013.
Okay, so it's as old as Splinter Cell Blacklist. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, exactly. And so maybe this is more of a, let's put out this little remake, remaster thing. And I believe they're going to take elements of Dead Space 2 and 3, at least control elements and things like that, or maybe even some, quality of life upgrades that were in those, and put those into the first game for the remake. Although I can't remember. You played it. I don't remember. Wouldn't
a remaster test the waters, or what kind of interest it would have? And that would take even less effort. Again, I'm not a developer either. I don't know, but to just bring up you wouldn't have to re-record anything. Maybe you'd have to remaster some sound effects or something, but you would just use the original game, the elements, and bring it up to current HD standards. What other than that would be a good way to test the waters? Release a trilogy remaster and see what that's.
You said this is a. Well, I mean, what's the difference between a remake and a remaster?
Well, I mean, they said they're going to redo the story, so this is going to be completely ground up type of game. This is going to be like a Resident Evil 2 remake type of game for Dead Space. That's the impression that I get.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not sure. My first thought, and this is just this is my first thought off the top of my head, was that they're just testing the waters. This is the cheapest way for them to test the waters, although you bring up a good point, whereas you've got everything there. Why not just go ahead and do that instead of making a brand new story and everything else? But maybe it's because the diehards won't be there. And if they, the diehards are like, well, I've already played this. There's no sense in me playing this again. And then the new people coming to it who never played it or who do want to revisit it, it's there. But if you take the aspect of, well, we're putting in new features, we're putting in a new story and that sort of thing, or we're going to update the story or change the story, then you're also pulling in the diehards who are the fans, and you're also kind of forcing them to double dip. I say forcing them. You're not forcing them to do anything, but they're likely to double dip in that.
Something to garner their interest in looking at this thing.
Look at Shadow of the Colossus. I bought that twice.
Yeah.
Maybe even, actually, I think I bought it 3 times because they did
triple dipped?
Yeah, because, well, it was the first game.
Yeah.
And then they did a thing for PS3 where they had Ico and Shadow of the Colossus remasters on, or remakes or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And then they did their, Big Blue Point did their complete remake of the game. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I think they're likely finding the cheapest re-entry point to maybe get an idea of, like, is that there? Mm-hmm. Is that drive there? Is that are there people out there who are going to buy this? Maybe. I really don't know. Dead Space is a pretty good. That's a safe bet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the weird thing about the whole franchise anyway is it was part of that original trilogy of games that when EA was going back to reinvent themselves.
Yeah, they were making original IP.
That's right. And now we've come full circle, right? That where EA's I don't know when the last new IP EA made, but it's been a while that something really groundbreaking hit the ground running. But they released Dragon Age, Dead Space, and Mirror's Edge all in the same year. Mm-hmm.
I remember that because it was October was Dead Space, November was Mirror's Edge, and then I think November was also maybe Dragon Age in there as well, of whatever year that was,
2008.
Yeah. God, I remember that. 2008.
That was a great year.
You know what?
That was a great year. And
2008 was Portal.
Portal 2 or Portal 1?
That was Portal.
Oh, it was Portal 1.
It was Portal 1. Yeah, that was the Orange Box. 2008 was Orange Box.
Oh, that was a great year for
games. Wasn't it? That was a really good year.
But it's not just the game either. Like, EA spent a lot of time building up the lore for Dead Space 2. There were 2 movies released. Mm-hmm. There was a comic book. And actually, one of those movies, I can't remember which one. It's like Breakfall or Downfall, maybe. It goes back like a little bit before the events of the game.
Yeah,
and it shows like the planet cracking and like what they were doing on there. It's really good. Mm-hmm. And I watched it after I played the game. I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. They spent all this time, and I was just looking forward. And then of course the 2 sequels come out, and one of them I think was critically acclaimed. The third one was less so, more action oriented, less horror.
Right. Yeah.
But they kind of made up for it with I think it's DLC The Arrival. And that's where the big cliffhanger was at the end. Spoilers, or spoiler alert. I don't know if we can talk about it.
I know.
It's been a couple of years.
James is in the Discord. I wish he's playing Final Fantasy right now. I wish he would jump in there because he would know about this. Because I know we talked about it a lot, and we were big fans of the. Well, he and I that they released another game.
The On Rails one.
The On Rails on the Wii, which by itself we hated, but when James and I played it in co-op, we loved every minute of it.
I actually didn't even know they had co-op in that game. It seems like something I'd want to revisit.
I believe they did. Yeah, I think they did. And I think it was co-op in a sense that somebody did the shooting and then you did some other part of it. Like, it didn't put you in 2 different players that I remember. It put you in somebody doing one part of it because it was on rails, and then somebody doing the other part, which would be a shooting or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like the
honestly, I would have been happy with an on rails Dead Space shooter where it was like Area 51 arcade style. That type of on rails co-op,
right?
Or Time Cop.
Yep, I know what you're talking about, and I want to say that it kind of felt that way, but it wasn't too. God, I'd have to look. Maybe it was too. I don't remember. It's been so long ago because it was the Wii, for God's sakes. But But yeah, I remember enjoying that as well. We'll see. I mean, the whole EA thing, just to kind of go back to that for a minute, was the announcement of the new Battlefield game, and then something called Battlefield Portal, which involved... No. It seems to involve basically every Battlefield game, but in like a multiplayer like aspect. So when you pick your character, you can pick a character from any Battlefield game previous.
Battlefield All-Stars, basically.
Kinda, but the fact that they're including Bad Company in it is the best part.
I was just going to ask if Bad Company characters were
Bad Company
that
characters,
list.
Bad Company weapons, Bad Company destruction, Bad Company, all kinds of Bad Company stuff will be in Portal. There's a trailer for it that you can go watch.
That's another game that deserves a sequel.
I know. God, I remember that. I think that was one time GameFly screwed up on me, and so I actually got an extra copy, and I want to say it was Bad Company 2 that I got the extra copy of. So, but yeah, that's where. And so, what else? At EA, they announced the Codemasters new game, which is a racing title. They announced the Battlefield. They announced the Dead Space was kind of like a tease type thing. There was another thing with Apex Legends where they talked a lot about that.
Real quick, though, going back to Battlefield for a second, I think they hinted at something else returning to the Battlefield franchise that's been, I think, long sought for the hardcore fan base, and that's being able to rent servers.
Oh, really? See, there was nothing I saw about that.
I don't think they announced it, but I think it's kind of come up through interviews and quotes from the devs. I think it's something that might happen.
Yeah, what did we... So, let's see. Grid Legends was the Codemasters game, and then something called Lost in Random. I didn't see the trailer for that. Knockout City Season 2, Apex Legends. There's Battlefield 2042 in the Portal trailer. Dead Space teaser. Oh, that was all. Okay. That was it. I thought there was more than that, but that was it. Okay, then.
Yeah, they ended the show on the Dead Space, stinger trailer, but I think maybe folks were expecting something else, kind of maybe another Dragon Age announcement or something.
Right. They haven't touched on Dragon Age at all. It's just been, and they didn't show off anything Star Wars. I don't necessarily know that they still have that license.
Yeah, I think they do. It's being shared. I don't think it's exclusive anymore, because I know that Ubisoft's team is working on one as well. And that team is working on a lot of things. They're working on the Avatar game and the Star Wars game, and probably Division 3, since they seem to be absolutely done with Division 2.
They've got a lot. Yeah, they got a lot in the oven over there, and really just I don't know how many dev teams they have working on it either. Seems like a lot, but then it's probably not, and they're probably going through a whole lot of crunch. But yeah. Well, Duke, hang on the line. I mean, if you want to hang around, you're more than welcome to. I want to get this phone call from Chris, though. And hey, Chris, you there?
What's going on?
Hey, man. What's going on with you?
Having some more fun. I beat the Scarlet Nexus and going through the other character storyline to see what the heck happened on their side of the story, and having a blast doing the new Game Plus and making it a lot easier to go through to see what's going on.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were playing. Because how close are you to being done with that? Do you think?
Well, I don't know. Since I beat the game with the main character, and then I've got a couple chapters into the other one, and I've already got 56 hours of gameplay. So I think it's going to go a lot quicker this time around. But been having fun to seeing what's happening.
Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I think we figured out why that. Well, never mind. Sorry. The phone call can't be heard on the Discord, and so I'm trying to figure out why that is. But yeah, that's something to worry about at a different time. Anything else? Are you looking forward to playing anything else? Something on the horizon here that you're looking to pick up?
Not anything new coming out, but me and my friend Tim at the game store in Prattville, RGB, or Retro Game Planet, he's been having a dying craving to start playing the 7 Days to Die on the console on PlayStation. So we're planning on spending late night or early morning long gaming session tonight to get it back in that. And I got back in it, and I forgot how addicting it was to me, and it felt like I was a smoker and I wanted to smoke a whole pack of cigarettes, and I just lit up one and didn't ever take a puff off of it one bit. And I have a feeling he's having the same feeling. He's been watching videos, and he can't wait to jump into it and play it and everything. So we plan to have a lot of fun, hopefully, playing that.
Well, it's always good hearing from you, man.
I also heard the news stories and everything about the Japan opening ceremony of the
We've got
Olympics.
that. Yeah, we've got that in our list to hit up a little bit later on with the music and stuff.
Yeah, I plan to look some of that up and actually, see it and everything. I've, heard about some of the different titles and stuff, but
we had it on Friday morning here in the studio. Rich and I had it on the TV that's behind Greg, who sits where I sit now, and so Greg couldn't see it, but we were watching it back there. And of course, it was just the parade of the athletes coming through. We couldn't hear any music playing or anything like that. We had everything on mute. I can imagine though if we had done that, and I said that sounds like I would have been looking. I'd have been typing up things like that's from a video. They're playing music from a video game as they're in the Olympics. And then as it would change, look it up as well, because it was apparently a lot of tracks that they used during this. So
I remember too that I remember seeing. I saw like a story from Kotaku or something that had some Twitter links to actual people, that had video of of what was going on some of the different game series, and too I was looking for. They had Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy music from some of those series, but I hadn't had enough time or the willpower to look through and see if I could look it up on the internet, pull up some video footage so I could hear it myself to see what it looked and sounded like.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for calling. We're about to hit the top of the hour here, so we appreciate you calling, and we will talk to you next week, man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Steve, I don't know why he's not in there. I don't know why we can't get the Discord to come in, or the phone to go through Discord. I wanted to read more about that Battlefield portal. When Battlefield 2042 launches in October, it will feature one of the most ambitious multiplayer modes the franchise has ever seen. It will bring together maps, weapons, vehicles of Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2, alongside whatever comes with Battlefield 2042 in a massive mashup mode. Players will be able to create virtually any kind of scenario they want in Battlefield Portal. A web-based interface called Battlefield Builder will let hobbyist game designers customize the rules of matches, mixing maps, armies, weapons, gadgets, vehicles, game objectives, and team sizes from various Battlefield games. This reminds me a lot of the Forge from Halo.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw that in action, but it was really, really cool. Because you could design in-game, you could design your own maps.
Yeah.
And the way you were going to do this. And this seems to kind of follow in the same suit, but also making it easier to access by going online, building it out there, and then going into the game and actually playing it. It's not bad. That's really, really kind of cool. Battlefield Portal, the maps. 8 reimagined classic maps plus all of the maps from 2042. Shared progression no matter where you play. That's interesting. Discover and share countless experienced players by the players. That's really, really cool. That might work. That actually might work. I'm curious to talk to people who play those sort of things or do the Battlefield games. Is this something that appeases? Is this something that you look at excitedly? Like you really can't wait for it.
Is this your Mario Maker?
Yeah, well, yeah, because that's really kind of cool. We'll see if it's executed well. I like the idea. I like what they're trying to do with it, but we'll see if they can pull that off. Not saying EA isn't known for pulling that off, but we'll just see how well it goes. We don't know. Let's see. We talked about that whole thing. Skull and Bones, man. It was an Assassin's Creed spinoff, basically from Black Flag when you were driving the pirate ships all over the place. Sailing the pirate ships all over the place.
Hit the gas.
Yeah, exactly. Pop the clutch. There's no wind. It's called Skull and Bones. The development began back in 2013. Here's that year again that we keep coming back to. Yeah. 2013. It was a multiplayer expansion of Black Flag. They teased it at an E3, and then they teased it again at another E3, and then they just said nothing. And it's 4 big delays in just 3 years. Skull and Bones may come out someday, and it might even end up being great, but up to this point, its development has been marred by just about everything that could go wrong in blockbuster video game production. No one believed February 2022 for launch, but you always hope, somebody had said. Production, led by Ubisoft Singapore, has been advancing well over the past 12 months, and the promise is better than ever. The additional time will allow the team to fully deliver on its vision. So yeah, they're not giving up on it. It's just... It's become a very... Yeah, it says that it's an 8-year nightmare for Ubisoft. It's good to hear an update on it, but it's something like this where they announce it, you wait a long time, and then you think, oh well. You lose hope. You lose the anticipation of joining an E3 so you can see more about this game because you're pretty sure they ain't going to talk about it. And I believe that's where I hit, again, going back to Ubisoft Splinter Cell. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I am not hopeful that they're going to say anything at any of their E3 presentations. I wasn't hopeful that they were going to do it at this one. I set myself up to not be disappointed because I pretty much figured they weren't going to do it. And I was right. So, yeah. Graphics cards. If you picked up the big one, and by the big one I mean the 3090 from NVIDIA, the one that costs like $1,500, don't play the new game from Amazon. Amazon's New World, which is an MMO, I think we played music for that last week, I believe. It is bricking those graphics cards. It is killing 3090 graphics cards. That is the most expensive card currently that you can buy, and it is breaking them. It is bricking them. This is from a streamer. Playing the New World beta on my EVGA 3090 has fried my graphics card completely. And there are many accounts of the same thing happening with the same card with the same game. I'm
here we're talking actual... When you say fry, we're talking actual smoke and spark and...
I don't think it catches on fire, but it bricks the card. I mean, if it does, then that still bricks the card anyway. So, yeah. First off, yeah, exactly. AC Wraith mentions... First off, it's hard to get these cards to begin with. And most of these people probably didn't buy them at the MSRP. They probably bought them scalped or used, which would have still been more than MSRP because they're hard to come by.
Yeah. Supply and demand, basically,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. For people playing New World, please cap your frames per second. This will help prevent any issues that people have been having with their GPUs being fried. I believe Amazon issued an update and fixed the issue, but not, of course, after so many people had dead cards.
Yeah, I'm seeing comments in the chat rooms like Drug Degenerate says, it's not like you can get a replacement in a swift manner. And Abaka was like, yes, actual hardware damage, physical damage done to this card. From this
I believe, though, and I think I have it right here, Amazon's response to this whole thing.
He also says it happens to most high-end cards due to how they automatically OC overpower thresholds and whatever the game is doing to cause that.
Yeah. I remember one of the things was when you get one of these new cards, they wanted you to undervolt it, like bring down the voltage that it was using. Just right out of the gate, you're gonna want to turn that voltage down, and it actually helped your card in a lot of ways.
Survive.
From what I don't want to say survive, but you got better performance out of it by turning the voltage down. I don't necessarily know that that's still the case because I ain't got one of those cards, and I don't know when I'll get one of those cards. Probably at a point where you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, Amazon released a patch. Yeah, that's what he said. So,
yeah, I heard that was the problem. They limiting the frames per second because this thing allowed you to push your system hard and getting the most frame rates, highest frame rates possible.
By the way, it's not just the EVGA models of the card that were doing it. It was on a range of different cards, all 3090s though. So yeah, the most expensive one out there. EVGA was replacing those cards. Obviously not at a swift, in any kind of fast way. but they have agreed to replace them for those that got them burned, which isn't me, and it was never going to be, by the way. I was never looking to get a 3090. That is ridiculous. Price per performance or whatever it is, price performance type, that whole ratio is way off with the 3090. Especially now. Last year, if you'd gotten one, there was like some sort of there wasn't there. I don't think there was a trade embargo, or maybe there was one. I'm not exactly sure, but from September to the end of the year, you were able to get the cards at a more reduced price, especially the aftermarket cards like the EVGA or the MSI or the Asus, stuff like that. The regular ones that are made by NVIDIA, those prices have never changed. It's kind of like a liquor store or state or whatever a state store is. Like you can sell liquor, but you can't sell it for less than what the state sells it for. And that was kind of like what NVIDIA was. It's like you can sell your third-party cards, but you can't sell them for any cheaper than what we've got for ours. So yeah, it's they're hard to come by. They're really expensive, and it's good that they're replacing them. It's just going to take a while. So hopefully you had a card on backup you had an extra card sitting around that you can put in there while you wait for your replacement card to come through.
Yeah, but how many folks sold their card to get this new one?
No kidding. Or when they got the new one, they finally sold their other one because they got oh, man.
Yeah,
man. All right, we're going to take a break because we are way over it. Here is music from a game called Celeste, which is a platformer, like a side-scrolling. I don't know. Have you ever played Celeste?
I'm familiar with it. It's a side-scrolling, pixely, 8-bit retro-looking thing.
It's on Game Pass, but I saw it for $5 on Switch, and I bought it without thinking that it's on Game Pass, and I was like, yeah, okay. Well, now we own it, and we have it portable, so whatever. Here's music from that game. I think we've already played music from this game before because this game's been out a while, but enjoy. We'll be back with more in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to in-game chat music here from is it Chris Tales? Christ Tales? CRISTALES.
Chris Tales.
I guess so. It's the battle theme or whatever. It was released this week, I believe. It's very Japan type game. But I know beyond that, nothing else. That's all I know about it. So. Welcome back to the show. So we were talking about, burning up the cards. EVGA will replace those. That's right. Talked about Battlefield Portal, and that's... Oh, yeah. The GDC Awards took place, and I'm looking for... Let's see. Game of the Year was Hades from Supergiant Games. Audience Award was Ghost of Tsushima. They won. Half-Life Alyx got Best VR Game. Best Visual Art was Ghost of Tsushima. Best Technology, Microsoft Flight Simulator. That comes out next week on Xbox Series X, or on Xbox consoles I think it's next week, the 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be looking forward to that. I have not bought the game or played, well, not that I have to buy the game because I have Game Pass, but I haven't played it on PC. I don't have a card to run it on PC. Currently, my consoles outperform my PC as far as graphics are concerned. My PlayStation 5 and my Xbox Series X outperform my PC currently. We're getting there, though. I say that. I hope we are. Best Narrative was Last of Us Part 2. Innovation Award was Dreams. That's something I need to look into. I was never into it, but I want to see if it's improved or that, I don't know, something makes sense about it. It's very hard to understand what it was. Like, it seems like it's a creation game, just kind of create stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Best Design was Hades, and Best Debut was Phasmophobia. So there you go. Oh, that is the Game Developers Choice Awards. Here's the Independent Games Festival Awards. Do I recognize anything? Ooh, Genesis Noir won Excellence in Audio. I have that on Xbox Game Pass. It also won Excellent in Visual Arts. So, yeah. Congrats to them on that. And then Chris brought it up. We talked about the opening ceremony of the Olympics. There was a lot of video game music. And if you were listening to it, if you were a gamer, you were listening to it, you probably recognized some of them. But yeah, they used Dragon Quest, then the victory theme to Final Fantasy was in there as well. I want to say there was also it was an entire medley that mixed in a variety of different sources, from Sonic the Hedgehog to Dragon Quest, and even some more other picks like Nier. Is it Nier? N-I-E-R? Is that Nier?
Close enough.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I'll take your word for it. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. There was music from Kingdom Hearts, I believe, that was used as well in there.
Well, video games always have some quality music, man. Well, it's only just leaks and everything else.
Yeah. Of course, I didn't hear any of this. I just started seeing the responses after it was airing that morning of like, oh, what is this? What are they using? I recognize that tune, that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
All right, let's talk about, and I ain't going to talk about too much detail on this because a lot of that I really can't talk about in too much detail. I noticed on our little sheet there you were looking. Did you look over this whole thing about the Activision getting sued from the state of California?
No.
Okay. Your cursor thing was on
Yeah,
there, so
yeah.
I just thought maybe you had. They're being sued. Activision Blizzard, which is a very big game developer, publisher, house thing. Activision does Call of Duty. Blizzard does World of Warcraft and Diablo. It's big.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, they also do Overwatch as well. That's another one from Blizzard. Yeah. They're being sued by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing over a frat boy workplace that they've used in quotes, frat boy, workplace culture that it alleges has led to years of harassment and abuse targeting the women in its workforce. This comes from Bloomberg. It reports that the suit filed on July 20th is the culmination of a 2-year investigation into the publisher by the department, which says that Activision Blizzard's compliance with California's broad workplace protections is long overdue. To enforce such compliance, the Department of, Fair Employment and Housing brings this government enforcement action seeking to remedy, prevent, and deter Activision Blizzard's violations of state civil rights and equal pay laws. The suit also highlights enormous pay discrepancies at the executive level between women and men. It says women are not only promoted more slowly, they're also terminated more quickly than their male counterparts. The company's frat boy workplace culture is also mentioned as a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. Some of the examples provided include, in the office, women are subjected to cube crawls, in which male employees drink a lot of alcohol and then they crawl their way through various cubicles around the office and engage in inappropriate behavior toward the female employees. Male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games. I know they work at a video game company and they play video games. Play video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibilities to female employees. Engage in banter about their sexual encounters. Talk openly about the female bodies and joke about rape and other things like that around the women. Female employees are subjected to constant sexual harassment, including having to continually fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male coworkers and supervisors, being groped at the cube crawls and other company events. In a particularly tragic example, a female employee committed suicide during a business trip with a male supervisor who had brought certain things with them on the trip.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really bad. Really bad. Also highlighted were situations where female employees were treated negatively due to their pregnancies. So, supervisors ignored medical restrictions given to female employees and gave them negative evaluations while they were out on maternity leave. Other female employees reported that they were criticized for leaving to pick up their children from daycare while their male counterparts were playing video games, and female employees were kicked out of lactation rooms so employees could use them for meetings. What was another one? There was one woman who said that when she requested time off work, her manager made her write a one-page summary of how she would spend that time off before granting the time off. No one else had to do any of that, but she did. It also accuses Activision Blizzard of failing to act on numerous complaints. So don't think they were just sitting on this for years and then said something. They have been saying something. But nothing will change if the people at the top are also doing the same thing everybody else is.
Behavior, yes.
It's never going to change. They're seeking an injunction that will force Activision Blizzard to not only begin complying with state workplace laws, but also address the unpaid wages, page adjustments, back pay, lost wages, and benefits for female employees. Activision responded to this lawsuit saying it is irresponsible behavior from unaccountable state bureaucrats, is what they're saying. In other words, they're going against this whole thing. Mm-hmm. They're saying, yep, none of this. We're not doing any of that. Unfortunately for them, but fortunately for everybody else, there's too many of these complaints, and it just keeps going. And there's former ex-employees and people that were in management who are coming forward with this saying, yeah, this is what happened. This is what happened, and sorry, we're really sorry it went on that long. These are ex-employees and stuff saying that. I
can already see the response from Activision from the ex-employees, disgruntled, bringing up old stuff to anything to get the eye off them. The reason they're coming forward is because this happened with them and we disagreed. I can already see it coming. Yeah,
the head of Blizzard Entertainment, who did World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo as well, sent an email to staff last night calling the recent allegations and discrimination extremely troubling, and promised to meet with them to answer questions to discuss how we can move forward. Blizzard President J. Allen Brack wrote, "I personally have a lot of emotions coming out of yesterday, and I know you do too. The allegations and the hurt of current and former employees are extremely troubling. It is completely unacceptable for anyone in the company to face discrimination. It takes courage to come forward, and all claims brought to the company are investigated by internal and, when needed, external investigators." Then it goes into more of stuff where this Jay Allen guy, president of Blizzard, allegedly had multiple conversations with a former senior creative director of the game about his drinking and that he had been too friendly towards female employees at company events. But really just gave him a slap on the wrist in response to these incidents. So yeah, they're going after him too for not doing enough to do something about it. One Blizzard developer said, "I'm not satisfied by what they've said. I wanted to hear an explicit admission by leadership that we have a problem, followed by concrete steps to fix it. Instead, it felt like a bunch of empty words." God, there's so much to this, and it's all bad. Mm-hmm. It's all really, really. We've had our thoughts and feelings on game developers for mainly of the product they produce,
right?
Not the work environment that they keep, because we have no idea. But a lot of the times we came away from EA was the evil EA. Mm-hmm. They're going to buy up companies and then kill them, which is basically what they were doing. Activision, Bobby got to eat, so he's going to get paid all this money even when they're having to fire and lay off employees. I mean, that is your stereotypical corporate thing with Activision Blizzard. Like, they're at the top of, like, find a stereotype for big business or, that sort of thing, and you'll find every single one of them right there at Activision Blizzard. Mm-hmm. But not in a sense of, like, this work environment thing. Not something like this bad. Mm-hmm. People on Twitch have come forward saying, well, I'm not going to stream this game anymore, until they do something about this. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of others who are going to say, well, good, I'm going to step in and take that spot. And people that don't care. That's perfectly fine. Destiny was once part of Activision Blizzard as well. Mm-hmm. I'm still playing Destiny. But, of course, I understand that Bungie, they didn't work in the same offices. It wasn't like they were working at Activision. It was just Bungie out in Seattle doing their thing, and Activision published their title. Yeah. So there's a lot of gaming outlets that have said that they will stop covering games for Activision and Blizzard. They'll cover this lawsuit thing and the more stuff that goes with it, but they're not gonna push any games from them. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Prima Games as well. They're the strategy guide guys, right?
Yeah, Prima guys, but I think the quality for them has gone downhill for a while, actually.
Yeah. The gamer editor-in-chief announced saying, we're going to stop covering Activision Blizzard games until there's some real change and this stuff ends. We'll cover the ongoing news regarding the current story, but we won't be covering the games. Prima Games followed suit shortly after, but extended its coverage decision to include Ubisoft, which had numerous scandals last year and saw its Singapore studio's current culture called into question in a report just this week. Game Explain was the third outlet to publicize such a coverage decision, saying, in light of the horrific allegations brought against Activision Blizzard, we are suspending any and all coverage of their games for the remainder of the year and perhaps indefinitely until the work culture has been improved. It's really bad. And there was more. The ex-boss at Blizzard came forth with a statement. To the Blizzard women who experienced any of these things, I am extremely sorry that I failed you, he wrote. I hear you, I believe you, and I'm so sorry to have let you down. I have read the full complaint and many other stories. It is all very disturbing and difficult to read. It feels like everything I thought I stood for has been washed away. What's worse, but even more important, real people have been harmed, and some women had terrible experiences. I was at Blizzard for 28 years. During that time, I tried very hard to create an environment that was safe and welcoming for people of all genders and backgrounds. I knew it was not perfect, but clearly we were far from that goal. The fact that so many women were mistreated and were not supported means we let them down. I wanted us to be different. I wanted us to be better. I'm curious as to when he did leave the company. He helped found World of Warcraft and Diablo in 91. He departed in 2018. Which means I feel like some of this stuff was going on under his watch, probably.
Most likely.
Yeah. But that investigation was been going on for 2 years, so you got to think 2019, 2020, I guess. Mm-hmm. Before then, but it probably was going on a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
It's really bad. You can look all of this stuff online. You can look up the entire complaint if you'd like to. There's plenty of places that have highlighted some of the larger allegations or the more serious allegations that are in that. Activision is not the only company that is dealing with this right now. Ubisoft is going through the same thing. We mentioned them a minute ago.
Yeah.
I think everywhere you look, and as far as game development, I don't think this is something that mostly happens. I can't speak because I don't know. I don't work in game development. But what you see, or at least what we've noticed out of these things, is that nothing changes. Nothing seems to be fixed. A lot of it seems to show that there's a statement issued, or there may be something done at that moment.
Yes, the standard playbook.
But
we apologize.
Yeah, it doesn't
This is
stick.
unfortunate. What are some other common
I want
things?
to say
that people
Rockstar had
say?
an issue with it as well, but I think Rockstar was about the crunch that their developers were going through.
Well, crunch or sexual harassment, basically any bad behavior is the exact same response.
'Cause there
we
was this-
apologize. We do this,
yeah.
we that. We will make changes.
And it wasn't
We'll do better.
It wasn't harassment. It was
Yeah.
I want to say it was called Wives of Rockstar, I think,
Okay.
because it was those developers not seeing their families because of how much was demanded of them at
Yeah.
work, that they
Yeah.
weren't coming home or something like that. I can't remember what it was, and they were trying to push
That's kind of a
like
common
the
thing,
Better
Rick,
Business
'cause you hear
Bureau
about that all
or
the time.
somebody against them for this work environment
How
type
many
thing.
times
But
have I-
nothing like this.
Yeah.
I don't suicide. That's
Yeah.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive that crunch is likely caused some stuff like that. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's horrible. It's
I
horrible.
mean, how many times have I seen this in the back of on the credits of a game you beat? Pay attention when they have the list of thanks. There's usually something along the lines of special thanks to our families who we've been away from. There's always something like that in the closing credits of a game, or kids born during our development. And that list was kind of long in one that I saw. So yeah, I couldn't be there because I was working on this. Things like that. But like I was saying earlier, it's a standard playbook. We apologize. We are gonna do better. We're gonna fix this thing. And then, like you said, nothing happens. It gets out of the public eye. It gets out of the news cycle, and then it's back to the same old. But what gets me though, what you said it was the first thing you said. Cube crawl,
Yeah,
liquor
cube crawl. Yeah, I know.
at
Yeah.
work
Mhm.
during work.
Yep.
Trying to
Bungie did issue a statement in regards to this because they know they were at one time under under that roof sort of thing, and so they issued a statement about it as well. They didn't name Activision in it. They just talked about what they strive to do and that sort of thing. What they hope changes from this as well. I'm just trying to
think what companies let no reputable company let you drink at work.
Right,
Who
yeah,
does
I know.
that? Who does that?
I know.
Do it
I
at
know.
McDonald's. See what happens.
Right.
I know. There has been, you could, if you had access to it, you could go back through. I have all the news all these are news links and everything else that we put into this stuff, so that we have stuff to talk about whenever we come to the show.
Right.
And you could go back to a bunch of previous ones, and if you could go back, you go back to a bunch of previous ones that you can look through, and you can see where I put in all of these things where there's not necessarily a lawsuit, but there's been complaints about this over at this developer. There's been complaints about this over some. I've gotten to most of them. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them I haven't gotten to, whether it be because of time, where we didn't get to it, or there just wasn't much more to say other than that. Never really got to. I don't really want to do that anymore. I feel like if it's there, then you should let people know it's there. So that's what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
From here on out, when these things happen, is to let you know when these things are going on, because maybe you don't know about it, but you should. This is so bad that the state of California got involved, rather than it being a lawsuit from.
It's not a lawsuit from a worker. It's the state of
It's
California.
not. It's the state of California
suing the company.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I think it's something you should know. You can use it. You can use the information to do whatever you want to do. Do you want to continue playing Activision Blizzard games? That's fine if you want to do that. Personally, I don't play any of those games. They don't appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty has long since lost its appeal. In fact, I was playing. Call of Duty was Activision. It may have been Activision from the start, I think. back when that first game was on PC. It may have been Activision at the time. I can't remember. But, yeah. So there you go. We'll be following that because that story broke on Friday. That story broke yesterday afternoon. So I can tell you, come Monday and the remaining days of next week, you're likely to find out more, or at least some sort of results of what's to come now from that. So,
let's see how the coverage is in about a month. Let's see how are we still going to get updates or whatnot, or we're going to have to go elsewhere to find out what's going on with that case.
Yeah. There was another game studio, I think Riot Games. I say it was Riot. The guys that do League of Legends and stuff like that. Yeah. I think they had some complaints way back when. What was it? Poor work
environment and something with employee treatment, things like that.
Yep, and it's just bad. It's just horrible.
I think it was the same thing. Juvenile environment.
It
type
is.
Of thing
it
going
is.
On out
it was
there.
One of our guys in our clan he said that his job is a programmer.
Yeah.
And he says that whole frat boy mentality is all over the place in that division, or in that, in that area of a job. Apparently that is it's everywhere. And so, you look at something like this, and if it works, you hope that more people come forward to get these things fixed in other places where it's going on, or at least gets the word out there. Somebody's got to take the first step to make it known, to put it out there so that the public knows about it. But, we shall see what happens. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll go over what we've been playing. So join us for that. We've got music here from, there's a new game out called Mini Motorways. It is sort of I don't want to say it's a sequel, but it's a companion to Mini Metro, which was the game where you would build subway lines, so that you could make certain stops and get people to different locations. It's on, I know it's on PC, but you can also get it on your phone or on iPad or something like that. So then they made something called Mini Motorways, which is kind of like the same way. You're just building roads and bus stops and all this other stuff. I was trying to find music for that, and I couldn't. So I found some music from Mini Metro, which was the first one, and that's what we're using here. We will be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from Mythic Ocean. Name of this track is Memories of Antiquity. So as we wind down the show here, I want to tell everybody hi in the chat room. We've got Academy Impossible, AC Wraith, another TV viewer, A10, Commander Root, Drunk Degenerates, Duke Frukum, Evans 04111, Feet, Lethal Migraine, Moltal, Retro, Slug Cult, Toe Ropes, and TYTDL. Thank you guys for hanging out in the chat room with us and joining us. Don't forget to join us in Discord as well. We got a lot of people in Discord, but they're all just doing other things there. But feel free to join our Discord. I tweeted out a link to our Discord, so if you go to our Twitter, you'll see that. That link is good for like 7 days, so go ahead and click it, and you can join our Discord. And perhaps join us on the show. anytime you'd like to. So, what have we been playing? RJ, let's start with you.
Played a little bit of Dark Souls 3, actually. Did a little file maintenance here and there. I've got 4 characters on there, and one of them I've got to start at New Game plus 7. Mm-hmm. So that'll be the last one. The other 3 are at New Game plus 4. So I've got Journey number 6 to start through with them to build them up a little bit. So just a little thing to pass the time playing some Dark Souls there. Let's see. Also did a little bit more Virtua Fighter 5. Played a little bit of that, and Grand Theft Auto Online. I've played some of that because they had a new DLC come out. Tuners.
Yep.
Came out, which is basically kind of like Fast and the Furious before it went into space. Basically street racing, street crimes, things like that. Heists. Which has always been a part of the online aspect of the game. Now these heists are being basically tailored for single player. You don't have to have a team to do heists
nice.
And things like that. Yeah, they started with the Cayo Perico heist. You can do some things solo in that one, but it takes a long time to do, a long time to set up, a long time to get everything hooked up and ready to go because you got to do prep work for your heists for about 3 to 4 missions that you have to do before you get the main finale of the heist going. But with tuners, you have heists that are pretty simple to do, easy to set up, and some that are easy to go through. I would just witness one person online do a heist where it was every Fleeca bank in town. I think there's 6 of them. The setup is get some thermal charges, steal a car, and those are the only two prep works that you had to do. The heist itself was basically getting some jammers at each bank location and then robbing each bank. And since there's no time limit in the heist itself, you can just go to every bank that you put a jammer in and just go do that. Now the payout is not very good, but that's the whole thing about heists anyway, because the setup and everything that's required. You have to buy an auto shop to get the heist work started. And at the highest priced auto shop I've seen purchased with all the benefits is about $4.5 million. But the heist that I saw this person do, the payout was $175,000. So you're gonna have to do a lot of work in this thing.
Robbed 6 banks and only got $175,000. Is it per bank or just the whole thing?
No, the whole thing.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, the payout, the return of investment on buying this auto shop is not going to be realized anytime soon. You're going to have to do some grinding to get that money back.
No, that's
like I said, that's the highest price I saw. You can get the base price of a auto shop with nothing included. I think is going to be from 1.5 to 2 million, around that area. It's still going to be a while before you get your return investment back. But that's how heists work really. Best to do with the group so you don't have to get burnt out on it.
Right, yeah.
So other than that, that's pretty much all I've been playing this week.
Yeah, I see Lethal Migraine's doing the show.
Yeah.
Getting all the star cards and finishing off Team
Infinites. Yeah.
And what are those?
Infinities.
What are Team Infinities?
Infinities?
Yeah. What are those? They go on forever?
Maybe Affinities.
I don't know.
Is it Affinities or Affinity? Because I know Affinity, if you play with a certain player long enough, you'll get an affinity for that player, and you'll get better stats and better performance out of that person.
Maybe that's what he's doing then.
Yeah. Play with someone long enough. Yeah, you build everything up.
I played Destiny, of course. Ran the raid last Saturday night, and that kind of finished off. It didn't finish off my rating. There's actually some more stuff I'd like to do, but that's going to come when I'm a little bit higher power level to do those. It's basically all the challenges that we did in normal run. You just have to do them in the master difficulty run, which by next weekend I should be able to more comfortably run a master raid. Should be. So, played that. Played it on Sunday, played again this morning, and I'm taking my 3rd character through the summer or Solstice of Heroes event that's going on, so I can get shiny armor, glowy armor, and stuff like that I'm working on. So
I thought you had one that you built on character.
I do. But when you you go through all the steps. So you get the blue armor, which is like the junk armor, you know. And each piece...
the rarity?
Yeah.
The blue
is like the rare. Yeah. Each piece of that has requirements for you to do in the game during this whole event. You got to do, collect these orbs, get these many headshots, kill this many enemy, do that. Blah, blah, blah. It's a grind on that first character. The second character cuts all that stuff in half. So you don't have to do... You have to do half as much you did with the first. When you do your third character, it takes that and cuts that in half.
Okay.
So this run on my third should be a nice little quick zip through running that. I just started that later this morning on my third, so that's probably what I'll be grinding out to get that done. And then when that's done, it's just finishing up some challenges that need to be finished up. The season ends on the 24th of August.
Oh, okay.
So there's still a month yet to just kind of finish up anything that needs to be finished up. What else? Played more Shadow of the Colossus. I'm up to, where are we at? Colossus number... We got to the halfway point 8. I think we finished Colossus 9. That was... remember he was the one where we had to get his eye... We had to shoot him in the eye?
Yeah, get his eye.
Yeah.
In the eye.
We couldn't figure out how to make him surface, and figured out you got to ride your horse, and then he chases you in the sand. And when he comes up, you shoot him in the eye, and he rolls over, and then you can stab him in his belly to kill him. So.
Well, the horse was trying to tell you.
Well, the horse was always staying with you. I was like, maybe that's a sign. And then the big booming voice from nowhere says, something about 4 legs are better than 2, or some stupid thing like that. And it's like, yep, got to ride the horse to get to expose what you have to expose.
Yeah, I'm trying to be subtle.
Yeah.
Now I got to be blatant.
Exactly.
Get on the horse, genius.
I know. That's me. Genius playing my games. So Shadow of the Colossus. I played more of Plague Innocence. Plague Tale.
Okay.
A Plague Tale Innocence. I played more of that. And...
You were happy you did.
I was happy that I did, yeah. So I watched a video about it because I was ready to kind of like, I'm putting this down. And so I watched one of these videos that kind of talked about... in fact, it addressed every single concern I had, which was, you are kind of going through this area, tagging along with this person. It's like a long escort mission, but they're like, don't let that sway you because it's not that bad. Rarely do you have to worry about it. It's not really an issue. You have to get through. The game realizes that there's not a lot of combat that you're going to have to do, or that you're not very good at combat. Not you as a player, but your character.
Yeah.
Has very limited ability when it comes to combat. So they don't put you in situations where you're going to have to do that. It's more just sneak through here. And they've given you enough in your arsenal to tell you how you can do that sneaking. And it's very, very, I don't want to say easy, but it isn't difficult. At times you may come to kind of a roadblock because maybe you missed picking up something that you need to make a distraction with. Like there was this one area I was playing the other day, and I got to this point and I was like, I have nothing. I was throwing rocks to signal the guy so he would walk away, but the rocks don't make enough noise for him to do that, and there was nothing for me to throw at the rock. What I had missed was there was this empty pot some other point of the room where I missed that, where you pick that up, then you go back and distract him throwing the pot over, and then you can get out the window. So there's a lot of stuff like that. It's a lot of sneak, and
I was about to think, hit him in the head with a rock and see what happens then.
Yeah, then you're alerted and all that stuff. So, because you are very squishy, you will die easily. Yeah. There is no, if you are spotted, it is almost guaranteed that you will die.
You're gone.
So it is a do not get spotted whatsoever. But it's just not hard. It's really not difficult. I mean, I rushed a little bit at times, and I realized that's what the issue was. But you really, it's not that difficult. I'm playing it further, and I'm hoping that maybe the story opens up. I've just heard a lot of good stuff about this game, and so I'm gonna keep going with it. I enjoyed after watching that video. I said, "Well, let's play some more," and I played some more, and I actually enjoyed what I was doing, and so I'm gonna keep going through that thing.
Well, so what elements of the story have stood out for you? Because all I've gotten really from this game is basically surviving the town that's been infested with disease-carrying rats.
Well, at the moment, I met up with... I now have a third character with me, but we haven't gone through any kind of stealth missions yet for me to figure out how that third character comes into play. But just escaped... just got on a boat, escaped a town from, a bunch of rats. And that's kind of where I've left off. Story-wise, I'm still sort of in the dark. There's something going on with my brother. Isn't he your brother? He's your brother. So there's something going on with him. Like, he has an affliction of some sort. They haven't really explained it yet, what that is, and hopefully I'll find out as we go along. But, yeah. So he's got a little bit of an affliction, which is the reason, they put that in there. I'm sure it's a story mark as to why and what you're doing, but it also is a reason for you to not leave him alone for very long, because he will get frightened and he will make noise, so you don't leave him alone. But so far, they don't put you in situations where you really have to leave him alone like that. So
I'm just trying to think of it as like, you've got to get out of this... town, you got to get out of the city by any means. It's just survive, really. But I'm trying to see what type of story elements in there besides save your brother and get out of town.
Yeah, well,
what else is going on?
It's on PlayStation Plus, I think, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
I thought it was this month, but that may just be for PlayStation 5 owners. I'm not sure. But I know it's on Game Pass, which is where I'm currently playing it at. So, what else did we play in GTA 5?
Yes.
She was interested. Wendy was interested. All your talk of GTA 5.
It's your fault, RJ.
Yeah. She wanted to check it out, so I downloaded.
Very welcome.
It sounds like fun. I'm sorry. It sounds like fun.
Until you start playing with people. Then it gets...
that sounds like extra fun. Because I can play back.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you want to be bad behavior then?
Possibly.
Most likely. If you play this game long enough, you're going to engage in some bad behavior.
She hasn't jumped online yet. She hasn't really played much. She tried to do that opening bank heist of the game itself, and gave the controller to me.
Mode.
Yeah.
Oh, story mode, yeah.
Well, yeah, because you got to do that. And I wanted her to do it because she's got to get used to the controls.
Yeah.
Because this is going to help. When you go online, this will help you to know how to control the game. How long were you in there before you handed me the controller?
Not
like,
long,
here, you do
I'm
this.
Sure.
And then I started doing it, and I started playing, and I was like, man.
Yes.
Oh, man, the shooting. I forgot how good the shooting was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot how great it felt to, like, pop out of cover and bang, 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 and then get in cover, bang, 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 do it again.
That several times.
Oh, my goodness.
This is so much fun.
I remembered how fun that was. Yeah, it started. I was like, oh, God, don't get sucked into this again. Oh, please don't. Please don't. Oh, man.
But look, the story's good enough to keep you interested, so there you go. But you're going to do a lot of shooting along the way.
And
three different characters and interesting characters to play with as well.
Yeah, we got to... I can't remember where we left off. I don't know. We just got the dog, Chop. Yep. And we did the mission that involved him, going through the train yards trying to find a guy that was hiding out or whatever. So we've done that. Still getting...
Chop?
Huh?
Did you control him?
For like a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
We play, just a little bit into it. We really haven't done the whole character switching yet, other than between Chop and Franklin. But we haven't. The other characters haven't opened up as far as like, the whole trifecta is not complete yet.
You can't freely switch between the three characters yet.
Yeah, we really haven't been introduced to Michael yet. We were introduced to Michael from that opening game, from that opening mission. But then it switches to Franklin, and then you play him for a good bit. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at on that one. And I bought Celeste, but I haven't played it. I think that's it. I think that's all I've been playing. Yeah. What about you, Wendy?
Well, I've played. Let's see. I played more Lydia on the Switch, and Celeste.
You played a little Celeste.
I've been playing Celeste, and I think I'll play more of that.
She's learning her genre terms. Like, she was asking me...
Side-scrolling platform and things like that.
Yeah, she's learning those things.
Retro.
Well, she played Celeste, and she's like, you call this a side-scroller, right? And I was like, you're exactly right. It is a side-scroller.
2D side-scroller.
But sometimes it goes, yeah, it's a side-scroller platformer. Which is exactly what it is, because you jump and do stuff like that. So, and she was asking me what Shadow of the Colossus is.
Mm-hmm.
And best I could come up with is that it's a third-person adventure game. Or action-adventure game, third-person action-adventure.
Third-person action-adventure.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of brought their own genre into it where I think there's other games that exist like this, but I want to say that Shadow of the Colossus was one of the first ones that ever did it, was where every fight was a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I don't know of any...
Boss Rush?
Possibly. It's not a game I played. But it's very possible.
No, but I mean, Boss Rush. I mean, that's something I've heard given to...
there's not a rush, you know? I don't know why rush comes in there, because this doesn't feel at all like the rush would be in there, but I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, every fight is a boss fight.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember any other games that kind of followed suit with that. I feel like there have been, but I don't know what they are. So yeah, we're just learning genres. What else? Anything else?
No.
Okay.
But I do have plans of I'd like to get into GTA.
Wendy's going to hurt someone.
I can't wait.
Wendy's going to hurt. Wendy's going to hurt someone's feelings in that game. I can tell right now.
I'm just trying to get her to where she can have the whole place to herself, not the house, but like the whole GTA open to herself, so she can just enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it still is, but it's only there with Franklin.
Yeah. I
want it to be more open so she can, move around in this big area. She can do that already, but she's only going to be able to do it with Franklin at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. You're right. Cuphead was going to be all bosses. And then, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Folks, we are at the end of our rope. We are, that is it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us in the chat room and listening on the stream. I appreciate you guys in the chat room always. Thank you so much. And everybody in Discord as well. And Steve, who joined us, took time away from his wallpaper engine game that he's been playing and decided to join us. So thank you for that. We will be back next week, but RJ will not. He'll be back week after next. You guys have a fantastic week. Enjoy it. We will see you next Saturday. I leave you with music from a game that just came out this week, and I've seen a lot of people on Steam playing it. It is called Death's Door. And this title of this track is called Hall of Doors. So there you go. We will see you next Saturday.